Hey everybody, my name is Katy Barro and today I will be talking about The Awakening, a short novel by American author Kate Chopin, originally published in 1899. The novel itself takes place during the same time period and centers around the story of a young wife and mother, Edna Pontellier, who struggled with her unconventional views on motherhood and other feminist ideals at the time. I will also be illustrating, pun intended, the similarities and contrasts between men and women and their distinct gender roles, values, and opportunities that came along with their assigned sex, with the aid of Judith Sargent Murray's On the Equality of the Sexes and Emily Dickinson's She Rose to This Requirement. Two very enjoyable pieces that represent the role of women during the 19th century. That being said, let's get started. Not everybody read The Awakening, but we all read Murray's On the Equality of the Sexes. She begins by contradicting the idea that women don't have the same intellectual capacity as men. Because of that, women should settle with their everyday gossip and fashion talk and all that good stuff. And that idea has basically been it for the longest time, keeping women in these secluded areas of the mind, in their place. And these secluded, constricted boxes is what Edna finds herself in, and also disagreeing with. On chapter 4, Chopin quotes, "In short, Mrs. Pontellier was not a mother woman. The mother woman seemed to prevail at summer at Grand Isle. It was easy to know them, fluttering about with extended protecting wings when any harm, real or imaginary, threatened their precious brood. They were women who'd idolized their children, worshipped their husbands, and esteemed it a holy privilege to efface themselves as individuals and grow wings as ministering angels. Being a mother and wife is not Edna's thing, and because of that she finds herself excluded from society." On page 3, on the equality of the sexes, which speaks of marriage, Murray quotes, "She, woman, experiences a mortifying consciousness of inferiority, which embitters every enjoyment. Though the person to whom her adverse fate hath consigned her possess a mind incapable of improvement, she is equally wretched in being so closely connected with an individual whom she cannot but despise." Besides him being materialistic and showing little love or interest for his family, Edna's husband, Leonce, was a wealthy and obviously educated man, who traveled as part of his job and enjoyed spending on useless new furniture for his house. Seeing a pattern here? Edna never really loved Leonce, and several events proved that to be true. One of my favorite scenes showing this, and a quintessential part of Edna's awakening, had to be the part where Edna went straight to their summer cottage after the party, but she decided to stay and relax on the hammock outside underneath the moonlight before going to bed. To put it briefly, Leonce came home and asked her to come back inside, and she just answered, nah. Then Leonce goes inside and pops his head and goes, "Well, are you coming in now?" And she's like, nah. She heard him moving about the room, every sound indicating impatience and irritation. Another time she would have gone in at his request. She would, through habit, have yielded to his desire, not with any sense of submission or obedience to his compelling wishes, but unthinkingly, as we walk, move, sit, stand, go through the daily treadmill of the life which has been portioned out to us. And then the same thing keeps happening for a while, just constantly back and forth, until she finally decides to come back on her own will, like at dawn. So of course, Edna is frustrated with her life. Her way of thinking is ahead of her time and feels, like Murray said, a case of inferiority that embitters every enjoyment. Even if Leonce has his faults, he's still expected to act his part as a husband and a rich man in society because of the time period. Men were expected to be the breadwinners and financially able to provide for their families. Because of that, they had a very high position in society and the highest education possible. On chapter 24, one of the quotes from the book reads, "Authority, coercion are what is needed. Put your foot down good and hard, the only way to manage a wife. Take my word for it." Leonce is basically the stereotypical rich man during the 19th century, which gives more reason for Edna to escape her traditional ideals. Him, along with almost all of the characters, doesn't understand Edna's craving for her own freedom. The poem She Rose to His Requirement by Emily Dickinson is actually perfect for this story because it basically talks about the transition of a single woman to the married life. In the first stanza of her poem, Dickinson quotes, "She rose to his requirement, dropped the playthings of her life, to take the honorable work of woman and of wife." The mention of playthings could be literal and symbolic, showing the changes of a little girl to a woman. A married woman, that is. The phrase could also count as other activities done before marriage, such as courting, which Edna was stripped from since a very young age. Really good reason why she's also unhappy with her married life. Once again, being constructed to this tiny box of woman ideals slash roles. And that is also what she ends up associating with Robert and Ervin, two very attractive young men, and spent some time with when her husband was away and traveling, if you know what I mean. The sarcastic mention of honorable work in the stanza ties back to Murray's essay, where being a wife and mother were the only acceptable roles a woman should play, and the changes and sacrifices that goes with it. Roles only applied to women, whereas it was easier for men to become anything they wished to do because of their education, given to them at a young age. The Awakening shows this role difference by having a successful cast of male characters. Some examples include Leonce Pontellier, a successful businessman, Alcée Arvin, and Dr. Mandelet. Robert Lebrun is actually the opposite of Leonce, and his contrasting characteristics are what make Edna feel safe and ultimately making her fall in love. The Awakening was a good read, and I mainly focus on the thesis instead of giving away any strong spoilers in case anyone would like to read it. It honestly delved beyond the inequality of the sexes and the constricting roles of women during the 19th century, and there are plenty of things to take in from it. Talented writers of the same era, such as Murray and Dickinson, helped construct a better argument due to their focus and passion on the issue in their written works. Even if times have changed, some of these issues still affect not only American society, but the other countries as well. Literature like this is part of history, and one should learn about history in order to avoid committing the same mistakes. But I believe there's still hope for this world. Anyway, thank you for listening. Bye!